The year is 1593. The Spanish Empire stretches across the globe. In the bustling city of Manila, a young soldier named Gil Pérez stands guard. He is a member of the Guardia Civil, tasked with protecting the governor's palace. The night is hot and humid, the air thick with the scent of spices and the sound of distant music. Pérez leans against a cool stone wall, his halberd heavy in his hand. He is weary from a long day's work. He closes his eyes for a moment, seeking a brief respite from the heat and the monotony. Pérez is a loyal soldier, dedicated to his duty. He has never shirked from his responsibilities. He has never given anyone reason to doubt his word. Yet, what happens next is beyond explanation, an event that will forever etch his name in the annals of history, shrouded in mystery and speculation. It is an event that will challenge our understanding of reality itself. When Pérez opens his eyes, everything is different. Manila is gone. The governor's palace is gone. He's not in the courtyard anymore. Instead, he's in a busy square, surrounded by strangers speaking a weird kind of Spanish he can barely understand. The air is chilly, not like the hot, humid Manila he knows. Fear grips him. He's very, very far from home. He's in Mexico City, more than 9,000 miles from Manila. How is this possible? How can someone travel so far, so fast across huge oceans and unknown lands? The people around him are just as confused. They ask him questions, wanting to know who he is and how he got there. In the 16th century, Manila was a bustling hub in the Spanish East Indies, a testament to the empire's far-reaching influence. Established in 1571, this vibrant city, perched on the edge of the shimmering Manila Bay, quickly grew into a key center for trade. Merchants flocked to its shores from all corners of the known world, drawn by the allure of exotic spices, luxurious silks, and the promise of untold riches. The streets, a chaotic blend of cultures and languages, were a testament to Manila's position at the crossroads of East and West. The imposing governor's palace, where Gil Pérez faithfully served, stood as a symbol of Spanish authority. Its grand architecture, a blend of European design and local craftsmanship, reflected the city's unique cultural fusion. Within its walls, decisions were made that shaped the destiny of nations, and it was here that the threads of Pérez's story began to unravel in the most unexpected way. Life in Manila was a tapestry woven from threads of adventure, opportunity and danger. The city, constantly buzzing with activity, held the promise of untold wealth for those brave enough to seek it. Yet beneath the veneer of prosperity lurked the constant threat of piracy, disease, and the ever-present tension between the Spanish colonists and the indigenous population. It was in this volatile and unpredictable world that Gil Pérez found himself stationed, a world on the cusp of great change. Across the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, thousands of miles from the bustling streets of Manila, lay New Spain, the heart of the Spanish Empire in the Americas. This sprawling territory, encompassing present-day Mexico, Central America, and parts of the United States, was a land of stark contrasts, from the silver mines of Zacatecas to the lush jungles of Yucatan. Mexico City, the capital of New Spain, was a testament to Spanish ambition and New World riches. Built on the ruins of the Aztec capital, Tenochtitlan, it was a city that embodied both the grandeur of the past and the aspirations of the future. Its wide avenues, lined with imposing churches and elegant palaces, were a far cry from the narrow, bustling streets of Manila. Life in Mexico City moved at a different pace than in Manila. The air, thinner at this higher altitude, carried the scent of pine and wood smoke, a stark contrast to the humid, spice-laden air of the East Indies. The people, while also subjects of the Spanish crown, possessed a distinct culture and identity, shaped by the land they inhabited and the legacy of their ancestors. The Transpacific Galleon trade. Bridging the immense distance between Manila and New Spain was a maritime feat of astonishing scale and audacity. The Transpacific Galleon trade. Once a year, massive galleons laden with treasures from the Orient would embark on a perilous journey across the Pacific, braving storms, pirates, and the unknown. These ships, marvels of engineering for their time, were more than just vessels of commerce. They were lifelines connecting two vastly different worlds. The journey, typically lasting several grueling months, was not for the faint of heart. Sailors faced disease, starvation, and the constant threat of attack, their fate hanging in the balance with every nautical mile. The arrival of the Manila Galleon in the port of Acapulco was a momentous occasion, celebrated with much fanfare and anticipation. The riches it carried, from silks and spices to porcelain and ivory, fueled the Spanish economy and fueled the imaginations of people across the empire. This vital trade route, a testament to human ambition and ingenuity, played a crucial role in shaping the destinies of both Manila and New Spain, unknowingly setting the stage for the enigmatic tale of Gil Pérez. The Plaza Mayor, the main square in Mexico City, was full of life. Merchants shouted about their goods, their voices mixing with the sounds of church bells and horse carriages. But for Gil Pérez, everything was a confusing blur. He stood still, his soldier's mind struggling to understand what was happening. How did he go from his guard post in Manila to this strange city, so far across the ocean? People stopped and stared. This confused stranger in a strange uniform caught their attention. His clothes, the normal outfit for a soldier in the Philippines, looked very odd to them. Whispers followed him as he walked through the crowd, lost and alone. He was trying to understand something that seemed impossible. Fear started to creep in. He was by himself, surrounded by strangers, with no idea how or why he was there. The Spanish language he heard was different. It was Spanish, but it sounded strange, with unfamiliar accents. He could barely understand it. He felt like a stranger in his own language, a soldier lost in a world he didn't recognize anymore. He felt more and more lost and scared. He needed answers, needed to understand this crazy situation, but who could he ask? News about the confused soldier spread through the Plaza Mayor incredibly fast. Whispers turned into excited chatter as people crowded around Pérez, wanting to hear from this strange man. He became an instant attraction, a curious sight that drew everyone's attention, from market sellers to rich nobles. Some came closer, curious but careful, while others stayed back, watching him suspiciously. He was flooded with questions, a rush of inquiries in a slightly different kind of Spanish that he could barely understand. Who was he? Where did he come from? How did he end up in Mexico City? His answers, when he finally managed to stutter them out, only made things more mysterious. He talked about Manila, about his job at the governor's palace there, about a night that started normally, but his words were met with stares of disbelief. Manila? That faraway part of the Spanish Empire, a place of exciting stories and strange legends? It seemed impossible that someone could travel so far, across huge oceans, in what felt like a second. To the people of Mexico City, his story sounded crazy. But still, there was something about how he acted, how sincere and desperate he seemed, that made them stop and think. Word of the strange soldier and his wild story got to the people in charge. The governor of Mexico City, a practical man and very loyal to the king, wanted Pérez brought to him. Curious, and maybe a little doubtful, the governor wanted to figure out what was really going on. The questioning happened in the governor's private room. It had tall ceilings and big wall hangings, but it still felt tense. Pérez, tired and confused, told his story again. The Spanish words rushed out, but they sounded strange even to him. He talked about his job guarding the governor's palace in Manila. He talked about the stifling heat and how he closed his eyes for just a second in the night. He explained how he suddenly appeared in this new city, how mixed up and scared he felt. He promised, as a soldier and a believer in God, that he was telling the truth. But people doubted him. His story sounded too crazy to be true. The governor felt bad for the soldier, but he also wondered if Pérez had lost his mind. Unable to dismiss the soldier's claims outright, yet unwilling to accept them at face value, the governor found himself facing a dilemma. Was this man truly a soldier from Manila, miraculously transported across the ocean by means unknown? Or was he a charlatan, a madman weaving fantastical tales to escape some unknown transgression? As a precaution, Pérez was confined to the city jail, not as a criminal, but as a curiosity, a puzzle to be solved. The governor, a man of reason and logic, found himself grappling with a situation that defied rational explanation. He ordered a thorough investigation into Pérez's claims, dispatching messengers to the port of Acapulco, where the Manila Galleon was expected to arrive within a matter of weeks. In the meantime, Gil Pérez languished in his cell, his mind a whirlwind of confusion and despair. He was a prisoner of his own impossible story, trapped between two worlds, belonging to neither. As days turned into nights, he clung to the hope that someone, somewhere would believe his tale, that somehow the truth of his inexplicable journey would come to light. Weeks turned into what felt like an eternity for Gil Pérez as he languished in his cell in Mexico City. The governor, true to his word, had initiated a thorough investigation. But the soldier's claims seemed so outlandish, so utterly impossible, that any hope of corroboration seemed a distant dream. News from the outside world was scarce, filtered through the bars of his cell like sunlight through a broken window. He clung to the routine of his confinement, measuring time by the changing light and the clanging of the prison bells. Then, one morning, a flurry of activity outside his cell shattered the monotonous silence. He heard the hurried footsteps of guards, their voices echoing through the stone corridors, tinged with an excitement that sent a jolt of anticipation through him. Could this be it? Had the governor received word from Acapulco? Had the Manila Galleon arrived, carrying with it the key to unlocking the truth of his impossible journey? The clang of his cell door opening echoed through the silence like a thunderclap. He rose to his feet, his heart pounding in his chest, a mixture of hope and trepidation washing over him. The guard, his face unreadable, gestured for Pérez to follow him. As he made his way through the labyrinthine corridors of the prison, each step seemed to bring him closer to his fate, to the unraveling of the mystery that had enveloped his life. He was ushered into the governor's chambers, the same room where he had been interrogated weeks earlier. The governor, seated behind his imposing desk, looked up as Pérez entered, his expression a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Standing before the governor were two other men, their attire marking them as sailors who had recently come ashore. One, his face weathered by years at sea, held a rolled-up parchment in his hand, the ink still fresh. The governor gestured for the sailors to approach. "Tell me again what you told me earlier," he instructed, his voice echoing through the silent chamber. One of the sailors stepped forward, his voice gruff but respectful. "Your Excellency," he began, "we have just arrived from Acapulco, aboard the San Antonio, which sailed with the Manila Galleon for part of its journey. During our voyage," the sailor continued, "we encountered a strange occurrence. One of the soldiers stationed aboard the Galleon, a man named Gil Pérez." He paused, his gaze shifting to the bewildered soldier standing before them. "Disappeared one night, vanished without a trace." The sailor's words hung in the air, heavy with significance. The other sailor, eager to corroborate his shipmate's account, stepped forward. "It's true, Your Excellency," he interjected. "We searched the entire ship, but there was no sign of him. It was as if he had simply vanished into thin air. He then unfurled the parchment, revealing a detailed report from the captain of the Manila Galleon, confirming the sailor's account of the soldier's inexplicable disappearance. The governor, his face now etched with a mixture of astonishment and dawning belief, turned his gaze to Pérez. "It appears," he began, his voice laced with disbelief, "that your story is not as far-fetched as it seemed." He paused, allowing the weight of his words to settle over the room. The interrogation that followed was no longer an inquisition of a suspected madman, but a desperate search for answers to a mystery that defied all logic and reason. The sailors, questioned separately and at length, provided consistent and detailed accounts of Pérez's disappearance from the Manila Galleon, each detail adding another layer of credibility to the soldier's impossible tale. Pérez, his voice hoarse with emotion, recounted his story yet again, this time to an audience that listened with rapt attention, their skepticism replaced by a growing sense of wonder and disbelief. He described the disorientation, the fear, the utter impossibility of finding himself thousands of leagues from where he had last closed his eyes. He spoke of his confusion, his desperate attempts to convince those around him of the truth of his experience. The governor, a man accustomed to dealing with matters of state and the complexities of colonial rule, found himself utterly unprepared for the enigma unfolding before him. The evidence, as improbable as it seemed, was too compelling to dismiss. The sailors' accounts, the captain's report, the sheer impossibility of a man fabricating such a tale with such conviction, it all pointed to a truth that defied rational explanation. But if Gil Pérez had indeed been transported across the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, then how? What force, what power, could have been responsible for such an impossible feat? The questions hung in the air, unanswered, as the governor dismissed the sailors and turned his attention back to the soldier who had become an unlikely enigma, a living testament to the boundless mysteries of the universe. The case of Gil Pérez, the soldier who seemingly traversed thousands of leagues in the blink of an eye, presented a challenge to the understanding of the natural world. Could it be that certain individuals were capable of traversing vast distances instantaneously, their bodies somehow bridging the gap between 2 points in space? Could Gil Pérez be a living embodiment of these ancient legends, a man touched by forces beyond human comprehension? For many in 16th century Spain, the mystery of Gil Pérez lay in the divine. Could Gil Pérez's inexplicable journey be an act of God, a sign of divine favor, or perhaps a test of faith? The theory, while offering comfort, did little to explain the mechanics of Pérez's journey. Beyond science and religion lay a realm of whispers and speculation. Could Gil Pérez have stumbled upon some remnant of lost knowledge, a portal or a device capable of bending time and space? The case of Gil Pérez became a blank canvas onto which humanity projected its fears, hopes, and boundless capacity for wonder. The passage of time only amplified the mystery of Gil Pérez. Scholars and skeptics alike grappled with the enigma of his journey, searching for a rational explanation that remained elusive. The story of Gil Pérez endured as a testament to the enduring power of the unknown. The story of Gil Pérez draws our minds to the concept of teleportation. Modern physics presents a stark answer. Teleportation, as depicted in the story of Gil Pérez, is simply not possible. The sheer amount of energy required to disassemble and reassemble a human body is mind-bogglingly vast, far beyond our current capabilities. Quantum mechanics offers a glimmer of possibility. Quantum entanglement demonstrates that the subatomic world operates under a very different set of rules than the macroscopic world. However, it does not allow for the teleportation of matter or information. Theoretical physics introduces the concept of wormholes, hypothetical tunnels that connect two distant points in space-time. Wormholes, while mathematically possible, remain purely theoretical constructs. The story of Gil Pérez should serve as a springboard for curiosity and exploration, not as a validation of scientifically unsubstantiated claims. The tale of Gil Pérez reminds us of the limits of our current scientific understanding. The case of Gil Pérez should serve as a catalyst for continued scientific inquiry. It is through the pursuit of knowledge that we inch closer to unraveling the grand tapestry of the cosmos. The story of Gil Pérez quickly transcended mere anecdote, taking root in folklore and legend. In the Philippines, the tale became intertwined with local mythology, incorporating elements of ancient beliefs. In Mexico, the story took on a different flavor, often incorporating elements of Catholic mysticism. The enduring appeal of the Gil Pérez story lies in the compelling figure at its center. Pérez, the humble soldier thrust into extraordinary circumstances, embodies the archetype of the everyman. His journey challenges us to question our assumptions about the nature of reality. The story of Gil Pérez continues to resonate deeply in our modern age. The rise of the internet and the interconnectedness of our world have made the impossible seem more attainable. The story of Gil Pérez serves as a potent reminder of the importance of embracing wonder and remaining open to the possibility that some mysteries may forever elude our grasp. The story of Gil Pérez, the soldier who seemingly stepped through time and space, continues to resonate through the centuries, not as a definitive answer to the question of the impossible, but as a testament to the enduring power of mystery. It reminds us that at the heart of every legend, every myth, every tale whispered around campfires and passed down through generations, lies a kernel of truth. A truth not always quantifiable or verifiable, but a truth that speaks to our deepest fears, our wildest dreams, and our innate desire to believe that the universe is far stranger, far more wondrous, and far more interconnected than we can possibly imagine. In the end, the true legacy of Gil Pérez lies not in the definitive answer to the question of how he traveled from Manila to Mexico City in the blink of an eye, but in the questions his story continues to provoke. It is a story that invites us to embrace the unknown, to question our assumptions about the nature of reality, and to remain open to the possibility that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved, their secrets woven into the very fabric of the cosmos, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to look beyond the veil of the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. The story of Gil Pérez is a journey in itself. It is a journey that takes us from the sun-drenched shores of 16th century Manila to the bustling heart of Mexico City, across vast oceans and even vaster realms of possibility. It is a journey that plunges us into the heart of a mystery, a tale spun from the threads of history, folklore, and the boundless capacity of the human mind to imagine the impossible. We have explored the historical context of Pérez's time, a world on the cusp of change, where ancient beliefs rubbed shoulders with burgeoning scientific inquiry. We have delved into the details of his inexplicable journey, weighing the evidence, sifting through the testimonies, and grappling with the sheer improbability of it all. We have ventured into the realms of science and speculation, exploring theories ranging from the scientifically plausible to the wildly imaginative, each offering a glimpse into the vast spectrum of human thought and our endless fascination with the unknown. Through it all, the figure of Gil Pérez remains an enigma, a man caught between two worlds, a symbol of the enduring power of mystery to captivate and inspire. Was he a time traveler, a teleportee, a soul touched by forces beyond our comprehension? Or was he simply a man caught in a web of extraordinary circumstances? His story distorted and amplified through the lens of time and the human penchant for storytelling. Perhaps the true answer to the mystery of Gil Pérez lies not in a definitive explanation, but in the very act of questioning, of exploring, of pushing the boundaries of our understanding. His story, like all great mysteries, serves as a potent reminder that the universe is far vaster, far stranger, and far more wondrous than we can possibly imagine. It is a reminder that there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophies, and that some secrets, like the universe itself, may forever elude our grasp. The story of Gil Pérez is a story that transcends time and place. It is a story that speaks to our deepest fears, our wildest hopes, and our innate desire to believe that the impossible just might be possible. It is a story that reminds us to embrace wonder, to question our assumptions, and to never stop exploring the boundaries of what we think we know. So the next time you gaze up at the night sky, at the vast expanse of stars stretching out before you, remember the story of Gil Pérez. Remember that for every answer we uncover, 1,000 new questions emerge, and that it is in the pursuit of those questions, in the relentless exploration of the unknown, that we truly discover the boundless capacity of the human spirit and the infinite wonders of the universe we inhabit. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, please like and subscribe for more fascinating stories and mysteries.